Okay, thanks for joining us. Christine Parra, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us why you're running for City Council?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Christine Parra. I live in the Pico neighborhood. I've lived here for about 20 years. I bought my house in 2001, and before that, I lived on Idaho and 18th Street as a renter. I am running for City Council because I'm a neighbor and a parent and a homeowner and just someone that's just kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so essentially, I just decided to take action and join my neighbors to see what we can do to try to come up with some creative solutions to some of the problems that are affecting our dear city. Why I feel that I have a lot to bring to the table. I work for another local municipality for the city of Culver City. I've been there for 21 years, and I've worked my way up within the municipality, starting off in an admin position, going into, I became a fire inspector, specializing in hazardous materials, and I also taught fire life safety to our community. And then from there, I got promoted to a city manager. So I'm the city's first ever city manager. So I essentially had to build a program from the floor up. And this program required that I work with all departments and all divisions to create a plan that's inclusive of everyone's needs. And then I also manage my own budget. And so I kind of felt like it would be really great to be able to be a city council member and take a look at it from that perspective, knowing, how city government works, just being able to kind of dig in and see what happened essentially. And so that's why I'm here today. I'm raising 3 kids. I have 3 boys. 3 of them went through the school systems here, or going through the school systems here, with my oldest now attends Loyola High School. And, we love our home, we love our community, and we just want to be a part of some positive change. And so that's why I decided to stand up.
Great. Well, thank you for doing so. I wanted to start by asking you, so you indicated on your questionnaire that you would oppose an elected mayor, but you do support creating districts in the city. So I was wondering if you were at all worried that without having a central person who represents the entire city and has all the city's residents at heart, do you think that there would be a challenge to build majority coalitions for small projects such as in Pico? I know you've taken a big stand on the construction on the Expo Yard and other projects in Pico. So are you at all worried, like in that example, maybe the other 6 members who aren't affected by that one project might not be willing to join you on that issue?
I've thought about that, but I think at the end of the day, we're all concerned about our quality of life and what that fabric of our city is looking like. And I feel like if there was a significant project that would adversely affect, my neighborhood and those that live and work here, I think that we could work together to find a solution and to come to an even path. I think that so long as we're collaborative and we take into consideration who live and work wherever those projects are, and whether it meets the needs of those that are going to be having access or using, whatever it may be developed, then I think we're in a good, even playing field.
Got it. And you also said in your questionnaire that you support a community-based approach to policing. You indicated there should be a higher police presence on the streets, park rangers in the park, more satellite offices around the city. Do you think that that kind of increased presence could itself lead to more negative interactions between police and minority residents?
That's a really great question. So I've thought about this, clearly with everything that's been happening with the Black Lives movement and what have you. And I'll tell you, I'm actually actively working in an emergency operations center right now. I've been working since March. So I've been working the COVID 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I had my first day off on a Memorial Day. And then we had to, work on the George Floyd civil unrest as well. So I'm very aware and I'm very sensitive to the entire movement and what's going on. And I feel like there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do within the police department in terms of, with the systematic racism, but just sensitivity. There's a lot of different things. And I'll give you a perfect example. I saw two different bulletins that came out from the police department, for wanted, someone that's wanted, someone that committed a crime. And on this one, it said 6'2", male, brown hair, blue eyes, tattoo on left arm, red shirt, black pants. And then on this one, it said wanted, 6 foot, black male, red shirt, black pants. And the thing is, with both of these, we could do much better. We can say, okay, 6 foot male, tattoo left arm, mustache, and so it's just because at the end of the day, every single 6 foot male black is going to be targeted potentially after seeing that wanted poster. So there's little things that we can do in terms of internally working with our staff about equality, when you approach someone, when you confront someone, when you have to work with someone. So that's that. In terms of what I said, community policing, I think it's really important that our police department is present and visible everywhere and anywhere. I know that we all know the locations where the drug deals are happening or where there's something, that's inappropriate happening. So I think that if there was more of a presence, I think that we'd be able to ward off some of, the crime that's been happening. But I also feel that, the people that are committing misdemeanor and felony-like crimes, or people that already have those records, we need to prosecute everybody. If you're in the park selling drugs, you need to get arrested. If you're over here doing whatever you're doing, you need to be arrested. And we need to prosecute. We need to have people realize that Santa Monica is not messing around. If you do something, if you commit a crime in Santa Monica, you're going to be arrested. And you can't, it's not okay here. But I think that, in talking to some of the police officers that I know, they're a little frustrated because, they'll make the arrests and then city attorney is not prosecuting them, because it's paperwork, because it's covert, whatever it may be. We have to all kind of stand up with because right now we have to work with the resources that we have, and so with the resources that we have, we can just start arresting people and we can start prosecuting and just develop that sense here in Santa Monica that we're not going to put up with this anymore, that we want to take back our streets, our kids are going to use our parks again, and it's not going to be a scary place. Sorry. I feel very strongly about that because with my kids, we used to, when Tonga Park first came out, Friday nights at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we would take our skateboards and we were like going, even me, up and down the hills because it's such a beautiful and fun park to do that. And now you can't do that. It's a very scary place and it's such a beautiful park. And so just trying to figure out, that component is really important to me.
Thank you. Derek.
So can you point me to a case where someone was arrested for committing a crime and they weren't prosecuted?
I can't.
By the Santa Monica City Attorney's Office.
I can't point you directly to a case. This is just hearsay. This is just something that speaking to an officer, and that's what they told me.
Oh, that's okay. Can you point me to a single district where aggressive prosecution of homeless for minor crimes has led to a reduction in either addiction or crime itself?
No, I can't.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Amy. Amy, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for taking our questions here. I had a question about your positions on Proposition 16 and Reimagine LA. I was wondering how you felt about those, if you could give us some information.
Sure, I wrote down some notes here. So that was regarding the taxing the luxury real estate. Is that the one that we're talking about, or?
Prop 16 is regarding the affirmative action, repeal of Prop 209, which would allow for affirmative action hiring processes. And then Reimagine LA is a divestment from the LA Sheriff's Department into funding health, human services, and other alternatives to policing.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I wrote down the wrong notes here.
Would it be possible if you could just send us an email, shoot us an email about a little thoughts on those?
I will. And, and just to, in all fairness, and just to kind of frame where I'm coming from as well, this decision to run, this happened 3 weeks ago for me. It was just a bunch of neighbors that came and asked me, can you please stand up and be a part of this? And here I am. So and of those 3 weeks, I was gone for 1 week on vacation. So I really have kind of delved into trying to learn as much as I possibly can about the issues and concerns of the city in a short amount of time. I'm not making excuses, but I just want you to know where I'm at. I'm not a politician. I'm a mom. I'm a fighter for rights, and I just want to have a beautiful, safe place to live, and that's why I'm here today.
Great, thank you. Let's go to Ed.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Ed.
Listen, I really like and admire your understanding of the two different types of wanted posters, because that really is emblematic of racial bias that sometimes, even if it's not bias going onto the poster, taking the information in that poster and going out on the street and looking for that guy, you're definitely going to end up with activating racial biases. So I really like what you had to say about that. So going on with that, do you think that if we take funding money away from our police department, lower it, that will also reduce racial bias?
I don't. I mean, I feel like we need to have a strong police presence. If we take into consideration, so when you look at the population here, right, we have 90,000 people that live here. And then we have upwards of 250 to 450,000 people here at any one time, just because of the very nature of the high employers and what have you. With the amount of police force we have here, I mean, they barely can cover. If we have a significant event in 2 different parts of the city, that's it. It kind of leaves the rest of the city open. And so I don't feel that we need to take money away from the force in terms of, I don't think we need to take money away, but what I do think we can do is we can reimagine and reorganize the police department, because I know they have 30 some odd detectives right now in different units. So we can move some of those detectives out. We can put them out in the streets, more visibility. I think that there's a lot that we can do with what's already there, but I think that there needs to be an open and honest conversation about reimagining how we can make this department better and how we can make the city safer. Because right now, there isn't a vote of confidence, with the residents on safety, because all these things are happening, and where's the police? And I also feel kind of like ever since what happened with the looting on May 31st, when you drive around and you look around, I'm not seeing patrol cars anywhere. So I don't know what's happened. I kind of feel like they're staying quiet, out of sight, and that's not what we need right now. We need them to be present and out there in the community. And
Okay. Thank you. So don't defund, just manage differently.
I think manage differently, for sure. For sure,
Okay.
manage differently. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Derek, go ahead.
So there were, on May 31st, we were clearly aware of all the protests and looting. And there was a police response to both. What are your thoughts regarding the responses to that day? If you don't mind telling me.
No.
And how old are your kids, by the way?
Sure. So let me start with the fun stuff, my kids. So I have a 9-year-old little guy, I have a 12-year-old little guy, and I have a 15 big little guy. He's my 6 foot tall guy. And I'm gonna, and my platform and my slate is, what you see is what you get. I'm coming to you with an open heart, and this is what I think and this is what I feel. as a public servant and as a public safety professional, it was very difficult to see everything that happened. Because you know that I was working that incident too, but in a different city, and we had a very different scenario, a very different situation. And so, you know, hindsight is always 20/20. So let me preface that, you know, without demeaning my brothers in blue. I mean, but what I will say, you know, had I had any involvement, and there's a lot of what we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know. We don't know whether the police department, or we do know, but that they asked for more help, and from what I understand, it wasn't given to them. You know, we don't know if they took the matter seriously as they should have or not, you know, seeing what was happening, you know, nationally. But off the bat, they should have shut down the freeways both directions. They should have shut down the expo both directions, and they should have kind of just closed the city in to push everybody out. That's me as that lay person. I have a little bit of understanding of public safety. That's something that I felt that could have happened very early on. They could have gotten, you know, more mutual aid from some cities that, you know, because my city was here, Culver City was here helping out. They could have gotten some more mutual aid help from cities that weren't as affected. They could have tapped into, you know, FBI resources. We could have had eyes in the sky. There's a lot of different things I feel we could have had, but we don't know everything. We don't know what the information that was presented, because like with any, you know, the way that we look at things, you know, you have to make a split minute decision based upon the situational awareness that you have right there and then. So we don't know what was presented right there and then and why she made, you know, the decisions that she made. And so, yeah, I would have done things a little differently, but again, I don't, you know, it's a very hard situation. I'm very curious to see what the after action report shows.
What are the names of the kids?
So I have Desi, who's in 4th grade, going into 4th grade. I have Mateo, who's going into 7th grade. And I have my Diego, who's going into his junior year of high school.
Very cool. You're obviously very proud. That's cool.
I am. They're good boys, and they're great students. So thank you.
Okay, anyone else have one? Janine. Yeah, Janine. Janine, you're muted.
Let's try that again. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Janine.
Right. I noticed in your questionnaire you had a comment about you wanted more access to public goods. Can you give me an example of which public goods you would like to see residents have more access to?
I'm so sorry. More access to public goods. More to public services?
Oh, no, it was public goods. I was just reading from my notes.
I'm sorry, and I just reread this whole thing a bunch of times, and I don't even remember that response. I'm so sorry. This was such it was a lot of great questions, but it was a very, it was, you guys got me thinking. So I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It's on page 1 in the bottom paragraph. Is that what you're referring to, Janine?
Sure. I was just.
The advantage of PDF and search capability. I just searched for public good.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So that public goods remain open, accessible to the public. You know, so yeah. So some of the things that I was really concerned about, I know right now, you know, is with the budget cuts and the positions that got cut as well. And so the way that I was looking at it, I was concerned about just the resources overall to us as residents and taxpayers of those things getting cut. And just, there's gotta be other things that need to be cut and done. I'm sorry, I'm not answering your question correctly.
It's a lot of paperwork and questions.
Okay, I was just interested in that answer. If you want to email us later, that's fine.
Yes, please, Kim. I'm sorry, I literally walked in because my kids start school this week, and so we went to spend the entire day at the beach, and I was like, I gotta get home at 6 o'clock. So I'm a little frazzled. My apologies.
How's the beach? Is it crowded?
We went to Paradise Cove because some of our friends live out there, so we got to go on that little private beach, and we took our dog for the first time ever to the beach because you could take the dog there. So it was a lot of fun. And it wasn't that crowded over there.
Good. All right. Well, I think we're about out of time, but thank you so much for coming in, Christine.
So,
Great to meet
thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so sorry I was kind of all over the place, but I will definitely get back to you. And if you have any other questions, I'm open to it. And, you know, like I said, I really feel that what I can bring to the table is just a really good understanding of local government and how we work and how they interact. And I want us to clean house. I want us to fix things. I want us to rebalance our budget. I want us to have a safe place to live and to grow our families. I want, you know, the developments that are done in a way that are meaningful and that are, you know, just a part of the fabric of our community and not just, you know, 11-story building smack in the middle of nowhere. And I think that, you know, with all the hotels that we have and the small businesses, we need to really put a lot of energy into them to help them stay afloat and to help them be vibrant, because we have that ability. So thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was really nice meeting you all.
Thanks for running and taking part in the process. And caring.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.